Gervonta Tank Davis being accused of using performance enhancers. Let's talk about that and the story that people are telling about him not being tested for the fight with Frank Martin. Let's do that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel. In this video, we're going to talk about some nonsense that is being spread out there actively about Gervonta Tank Davis. And I don't think that I have ever seen a more intentional slander job being done on a fighter. Ever. Gervonta Davis has a fight coming up with Frank Martin. And yesterday, there was a grand arrival for the fight in Las Vegas where all the fighters showed up. Gervonta Davis was not there, though, because he was out jogging. I did a video about that. Thought that's a bad look. Not a, man, you should show up to the grand arrival, man. Come on, man. But whatever, man. Did a pull the diva move and let everybody know on Twitter he wasn't going to show up. So had to give him the reasonable amount of criticism for doing that. Don't really think it's going to have a big impact on the fight, but it is what it is. But while I was waiting for Gervonta Davis to show up to this press conference or to this grand arrival, this note kept coming through the stream. In the comment sections of the stream, Gervonta Davis doesn't want to be tested. Gervonta Davis isn't testing. Gervonta Davis is on PEDs over and over again, right throughout the stream. And I, of course, have live streams every morning. So I had heard a bunch of people asking me about why Gervonta Davis doesn't want to get tested, why Gervonta Davis doesn't want why does Frank Martin have to be tested for PEDs and Gervonta Davis does not? Absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous and nothing but a hit job on Gervonta Davis, and anybody with 3 brain cells should know that. But before I explain exactly why you should know that and why certain things you don't have to hear from inside sources or any of that, let me welcome you back to the channel. If you are new to the channel, please accept my invitation to hit the subscribe button and hit the bell icon so you can be notified of when we release more videos. And if you're a longtime subscriber and supporter of the channel, thank you so much for your continued support. It really means a lot to the channel. And thank you to everybody that supports in the super thanks. Let me tell you, man, Devin Haney's whooping that he took from Ryan Garcia seems to have given a lot of other people, specifically his fan base, a concussion that they have not recovered from. Because not only are they extremely butthurt over the fact that Ryan Garcia he lost, they're now concocting some of the most ridiculous stories and most ridiculous accusations and concerns. And if they're really sophisticated about it, they'll just say, shouldn't we just be concerned about this? Isn't this just a question we should ask? As if when you ask certain questions, when you have no reason to ask the question, that doesn't make people start wondering. So you're not straight out accusing them. You're just calling it into question. So let's call into question whether or not Gervonta Davis is being tested for this fight against Frank Martin. If you're not familiar, there is an organization called the Nevada State Athletic Commission. Nevada State Athletic Commission. And there's another organization called the World Boxing Association. Both of those organizations are involved in this fight with Gervonta Davis and Frank Martin, and they're the ones that are creating whose rules apply to this match. So there's a list of rules for the New York State Athletic Commission and a list of rules for the WBA championship that they are fighting for. And Gervonta Davis does not have any choice in the matter as it relates to the majority of those rules. The only exception that I can think is the amount that he pays in a sanctioning fee to the WBA, which is typically 3%. But if you're making really, really big amounts of money, they can negotiate that down to a lump sum, which is still considerable, but, not exorbitant. Other than that, the rules apply. And guess what they have? The new Nevada State Athletic Commission has rules that require you test. Rules requiring that you test. Rules requiring that you test. You also have the WBA, who has rules requiring that fighters test. So there will be, without a doubt, testing for this fight. So what is the big hoopla, and where are they basing these? I wonder if he's getting tested at all. Ridiculous questions from, and even more ridiculous accusations. Because Gervonta Davis said he didn't know if he wanted to be tested by VADA, the Voluntary Anti-Doping Agency. Now, that's like saying, I don't want to go to McDonald's for a hamburger. I want to go to Burger King. If I tell you I don't want to eat at McDonald's, does that mean I'm not going to eat anything? I refuse to eat McDonald's this month. Is that the same thing as saying that I'm not going to take in any food for the month? Of course not. If I say I don't want to drink Dasani water, does that mean I'm not going to drink any water? Of course not. So if somebody asks you, well, he said that he didn't want to eat McDonald's, don't we have to wonder why he's not eating at all? Do you see the leap that you make between Gervonta Davis saying he doesn't want to be tested by the Voluntary Anti-Doping Agency? He would rather be tested by somebody else, like the World Anti-Doping Agency or the U.S. Anti-Doping Agency, or the Nevada State Athletic Commission itself. It's not the same thing. And people that conflate the two things are being blatantly dishonest. They are smart enough to be able to put a YouTube video up, so they're smart enough to know what they're doing. It is flat out manipulative. It is flat out. It's not on the level of slander, but it is walking up on it. And and in the spirit of it, it is, because you're asking people to wonder whether or not, matter of fact, it asked them somebody, why is Frank being tested and why isn't Gervonta? Why is Frank the only one being tested? Gervonta Davis and Frank are going to be tested by the same agency. Unless Frank himself wants to pay VADA extra money just to test him, which doesn't make a lot of sense. It seems like Frank would just be paying an extra check and increasing his chance of having something go wrong if something gets contaminated. But I don't blame Gervonta Davis for not wanting to be tested by VADA, specifically after all this stuff about Devin and Ryan and Victor Conti and Victor Conti's role with VADA. There's questions over there that a reasonable people can ask about any organization, about whether or not they are being effective, whether or not they are suspect to outside influences. And if you have any questions about a testing agency if you suspect anything about a testing agency, why would you use it? You wouldn't use it, especially if you have other options. But anyway, that's my take on the matter. I just think that is just so dishonest. But what's new? What else is new? Same thing, same people, different story. Anyway, that's my take on the matter. Please let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Deuces.